to, there we go. So one side of the Quran is in this direction and the other side is okay. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. نحمده ونصلي على رسوله الكريم. أما بعد. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala continues describing who He is and what Allah has done. He says, وَهُوَ الَّذِي أَنْشَأَ لَكُمُ السَّمْعَ وَالْأَبْصَارَ وَالْأَفْئِدَةَ قَلِيلًا مَا تَشْكُرُونَ. He is the one who has made and created for you sam'a, hearing, wal-abasar, and seeing, wal-af'idah, and the hearts. قَلِيلًا مَا تَشْكُرُونَ. Very few people are grateful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The ni'mas and the blessings we have, sama' and basar, hearing and seeing, and the heart that has compassion inside it. For hearing and seeing is only valuable when there is compassion. When it is absent of compassion, then that hearing and seeing has no value. And I'll give you an example. Whatever is happening in Palestine, all the difficulties against the Muslims and what is happening at Masjid al-Aqsa, if someone views it and someone shares it and someone sees it, and there is no compassion in their heart, then there was no fayda for it. There was no benefit of it. So Allah says that while you have your hearing and you have your sight, wal-af'idah, your qulub and your hearts are just as important. قَلِيلًا مَا تَشْكُرُونَ. And be grateful for the things you hear, the things you see, and the things you feel. All of these things, Allah is saying, be grateful. وَهُوَ الَّذِي ذَرَأَكُمْ فِي الْأَرْضِ وَإِلَيْهِ تُحْشَرُونَ. Allah says He is the one who has given you and put you and scattered you on earth. وَإِلَيْهِ تُحْشَرُونَ. And to Allah you shall return and you will be raised in front of Allah. وَهُوَ الَّذِي يُحْيِي وَيُمِيتُ وَلَهُ اخْتِلَافُ اللَّيْلِ وَالنَّهَارِ أَفَلَا تَعْقِلُونَ. And for Allah, وَهُوَ الَّذِي يُحْيِي, He gives life. وَيُمِيتُ, He takes life. وَلَهُ اخْتِلَافُ اللَّيْلِ وَالنَّهَارِ. And the changing of the night and the day is for Allah. أَفَلَا تَعْقِلُونَ. What Allah shows everybody around the dunya is that everything has changed to it. Look at the tree. The tree, leaves fall, grows to change. Look at the weather. Goes from sunrise, cloudy, comes rainy. There's change. You look at in yourself. There's change. And Allah has no change. Allah is azali. Allah is the same. Has always been the same. Will always be the same. Allah is azali, as they say in Arabic. So, what Allah tries to remind us is that you are all hadith. In the books of Aqidah, there are two words used. Hadith or hadith and qadim. Hadith, which is called hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. We are also called hadith as well. The dunya is called hadith or hadith. And the reason is that hadith means something that is temporary. And qadim means that it is very old. But in the text of Aqidah, qadim means something that's everlasting. Meaning that, it has no beginning. It has no creation. It is everlasting. And a hadith is something that was created. So the scholars write, why is it called hadith? They said, well, because the kalam of Allah is qadim and forever, and the kalam of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is hadith. It is temporary. That is why hadith is called hadith. A second opinion is that hadith is called hadith from the Arabic word haddatha yuhaddithu, which means to speak. Because in hadith is generally words of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Or hadith is called hadith is because Allah says, فَأَمَّا بِنِعْمَةِ رَبِّكَ فَحَدِّثْ. And this is the ni'mats of Allah to talk about Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Anyhow, the point is that Allah has qadam. He is there forever and ever, and He's always been there, and He doesn't change. And humans and everything else changes. بَلْ قَالُوا مِثْلَ مَا قَالَ الْأَوَّلُونَ. But they said, and similarly to what the earlier generation said, قالوا أإذا متنا وكنا ترابا وعظاما أإنا لمبعوثون. They said, when we die and we become dust and bones, will we be raised? لقد وعدنا نحن وآباؤنا هذا من قبل إن هذا إلا أساطير الأولين. لقد وعدنا. We have been promised نحن وآباؤنا, us and our forefathers. هذا من قبل, from before. إن هذا إلا أساطير الأولين. You're just telling us these stories and fables from the past. None of these things are actually things that are accurate. You're just telling us stories of the past. قل لمن الأرض ومن فيها إن كنتم تعلمون سيقولون لله قل أفلا تذكرون. Ask them, who is this earth and whoever is in it, who does it belong to if you truly know? They will say, it is for Lillah, it is for Allah. أفلا تذكرون. Are you not mindful of this? Are you not cognizant of this? قل من رب السماوات السبع. Who is the Allah of the seven? Who is the Lord of the seven heavens? وَرَبُّ الْعَرْشِ الْعَظِيمِ, and the Lord of the magnificent throne. سَيَقُولُونَ لِلَّهِ. They will say, it is Allah. قُلْ أَفَلَا تَتَّقُونَ. Ask them, do they not have taqwa? قُلْ مَنْ بِيَدِهِ مَلَكُوتُ كُلِّ شَيْءٍ وَهُوَ يُجِيرُ وَلَا يُجَارُ عَلَيْهِ إِن كُنْتُمْ تَعْلَمُونَ. He says, then who has the control and the dominion and sovereignty over everything, and who the one who protects and doesn't need protection, in kuntum ta'lamun, if you know. وَهُوَ يُجِيرُ. Allah gives protection. You know, Allahumma ajirna minan nar. Right? Allah protect us from the fire of Jahannam. وَهُوَ يُجِيرُ وَلَا يُجَارُ عَلَيْهِ. He is protected and no one protects him. He's not in need in protection. سيقولون لله. They will say it is for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. قُلْ فَأَنَّا تُسْحَرُونَ. And so say to them, then why are you so deluded? Why are you so confused? بَلْ أَتَيْنَاهُمْ بِالْحَقِّ وَإِنَّهُمْ لَكَاذِبُونَ. We brought them the truth, but they denied it. مَا اتَّخَذَ اللَّهُ مِنْ وَلَدٍ وَمَا كَانَ مَعَهُ مِنْ إِلَهٍ إِذًا لَذَهَبَ كُلُّ إِلَهٍ بِمَا خَلَقَ وَلَا عَلَى بَعْضُهُمْ عَلَى بَعْضٍ سُبْحَانَ اللَّهِ عَمَّا يَصِفُونَ. Allah has not taken a child, and with him there is no other God. إِذًا لَذَهَبَ كُلُّ إِلَهٍ بِمَا خَلَقَ. If that was the case, then every God would just want their group of people. You know how every nation is focused on their country and their people? There are multiple gods, the same thing would have happened. وَلَا عَلَى بَعْضُهُمْ عَلَى بَعْضٍ. Then as you hear in Greek mythology, one God would fight the other, and one of them there would be chaos. How can there be multiple gods? Subhanallah amma yasifun. Praise be to Allah, glory be to Allah for what you described. عالم الغيب والشهادة فتعالى عما يشركون. He is the knower of the unseen and the witness. And how great is his fata'ala. He is far above what they ascribe partners to him. This last ruku, finish off tomorrow, inshallah. Sit a moment. Meantime, if you have any questions, you can ask. If there's any on your chat or something. Huh? No, inshallah it won't be. I'm not supposed to announce this. Did you go ahead? Moon sighting? Why? Moon sighting? You just took a whole lecture. So moon sighting, you see Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam says, صُومُوا لِرُؤْيَتِنَا وَأَفْطِرُوا لِرُؤْيَتِهِ وَأَفْطِرُوا لِرُؤْيَتِهِ. That when you fast on the seeing of the moon, لِرُؤْيَتِهِ وَأَفْطِرُوا لِرُؤْيَتِهِ, and break your fast, لِرُؤْيَ. Ru'ya means to see it. So this is clear text. Now people who follow calculations, they object. And they say that, well, you follow calculations in prayer, why don't you go out and sight the moon? Why don't you go see the sunrise or sunset? Why is it only that you do this in Ramadan? Why not every day? You have double standards. That's inaccurate. Because it's the wording of the hadith. Rasulullah ﷺ in the hadith of prayers doesn't say, pray when you see the sunrise, when you see the sunset. He says, إِذَا غَرَبَتِ الشَّمْسِ. Or he says, إِذَا كَانَ مِثْلَيْ كُلَّ شَيْءٍ. Or إِذَا غَابَ الشَّفَقِ. He says, when the sun sets, when this happens, when the shadow of everything is double, when the twilight disappears. Do you understand? The word when is used. Over here it's upon its sighting. The second thing is that some scholars say that sumu li ru'yatihi, ru'ya in Arabic can mean yaqeen. Ra'a is one of the words that can also mean yaqeen. Fast when you have certainty about it. This is also incorrect for two reasons. Number one, our astronomical brothers and sisters who follow calculations, half the times they sight a moon that nobody else can see. So there is no certainty. The second thing is that the word in Arabic, ra'a, doesn't mean yaqeen in every scenario. Now, I know you know a little bit of Arabic. You know fi'l, fa'il, maf'ul? Do you know fi'l, fa'il, maf'ul? Ra'a only means yaqeen when it's accompanied by two maf'uls, not in its masdar form. Ru'ya in its masdar form doesn't mean yaqeen unless, because it's not context. It has to have two maf'ul. It's one of those verbs that require two maf'uls. You know how generally a verb requires one maf'ul? Ra'a, when it's under the meaning of yaqeen, it means it has to have two maf'uls to it. Alima, same thing. Alima, not every alima means yaqeen. Alima means to know. Alima can also mean yaqeen, that I know for sure. But there needs to be two maf'uls accompanied with it to give off that meaning. Okay? Third thing is that they say that there is Mutarrif ibn Shakhir was a tabi'i who was of the opinion of calculations. Okay, that's one man in a galaxy of millions. It's a bad analogy. Just bringing me one name against an established opinion and position, right? And as Muslims excelled in astronomy and went ahead, it never remained the majority opinion. And there's actually du'as for sighting the moon. Why would there be du'as for it? Why did Allah not give us a solar calendar to begin with? Did He not know that it was less problematic? Why give us the lunar calendar? لِيَبْلُوَكُمْ, so that we may be tested. Right? Anything else? That's some of your moon sighting discussion. Yeah. No, moon sighting is, it's even with the... That's fine. That should happen. It's because not every masjid is governed by knowledge. A masjid is governed by misguidance. You don't just because it's your masjid, you don't follow it. وَجَدْنَا عَلَيْهِ آبَاءَنَا. That's what they said. We found our forefathers on it. Our family goes, that's why we follow it. No. You go find another community. And there. That's important. It's important for accountability as well. You know, like over here in Plano, in all religious affairs, Imam Azhar is the final say. That's by constitution. So that's how this community is built. In other communities, it's not like that. It's some may agree, some may not, but it's not like that. So yeah. What are you doing for Eid? You here for Eid? First, second, or third? Which one do you usually go to? Which one usually has most of the youth in it and everyone? Inshallah. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون والسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. We have one more ruku left of Surah. Give us back here.